Welcome to Sexy Mom Abundant Life with best-selling author and coach Kathy Williams, a show to help you tap into the support of the universe and access the abundance that's available in every area of your life. Listen in for conversations and tools to create more ease, joy, and possibility with family, relationships, business, and living. Kathy's joyful perspective will help you tap into your own wisdom and create a life of presence and abundance your way. Listen live on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, or anytime on iTunes or at IOM-FM.
Welcome to Sexy Mom Abundant Life, everyone. This is Kathy Williams, and I'm here today with Sophie Michelle. We are going to have a conversation about being seen, and I know that's a big hang-up for a lot of people. In fact, it was a big hang-up for me for a long, long time because you might not know it from YouTube or whatever types of things, but I'm kind of a private person, and I've had to overcome the fear of being seen and heard and actually a lot of perfectionism issues and ideas about myself. And luckily, I've jumped over a lot of hurdles to do that. And those hurdles were self-made, gotta say, so we'll talk about that. But life is so much better on the other side of all those hang-ups about being seen, because then you have the option to be seen or not without quite so much strife about it. And for me, a lot of it came down to self-judgment and ideas about that. So we'll dive in just a moment. And before we do, I just want to invite you to submit your show ideas, connect with us, and ask your questions pretty much on YouTube and at meetkathywilliams.com. And that's Kathy with a K, Williams with an S, and that's also where you can find a free money rain exercise. So welcome to the show, Sophie. I'm so excited to have you here and have this conversation with you. It's always so much fun to just pick your brain and interact.
Hi, Kathy. I think just as you said that, I think I just appeared on the video, so I don't know if you can see me, but
nope. That's all right.
But I'm here. I know
okay,
it's
cool.
interesting that the show is about being seen, and I was not able to put myself on video this whole time.
There we go.
So okay, all right. So hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. You know, this year, 2020, has kind of come full on at me. I don't know if that's the case for you, but it's definitely felt a little intense, and I had to shift my perspective and be like, wow, it's brought me a lot of amazing things too. It's just been really like full on. How about you, Sophie?
Actually, it's been a very sweet time for me. The interesting thing is I actually feel more in control of my time than ever before, or at least I thought. I thought I was more in control. Okay, so can you see me now, Kathy?
I can see you.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, it's actually been a really cool time for me. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I got it. It's been a really, really good time. I find a lot of really sweet vibes and energy in my environment, in my people, and I have no idea what the future is going to look like because I'm changing a lot of things again. And but I'm not stressed out. So it's a really fun time for me. I'm just in total creation mode. I'm receiving lots of insight, input, information, and looking at it all. So I'm excited.
That I love that. How fun. So, have you ever had hesitation with being seen?
Okay, I wanna tell you that when you started speaking, I was surprised because I actually don't remember a time that I did not want to be seen, but I do remember a time. But I do remember a long time that I felt not seen. Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So now that I heard you say that, I'm like, wow, maybe because it's very recent. I think it's the last year that I felt very much seen by everybody, including strangers, which was a new experience for me. So maybe I thought I wanted to be seen, but since I did not feel seen, maybe I did not want to be seen and I did not acknowledge it.
Well, I guess that kind of comes down to, like, what have we decided would happen if we were seen?
Right? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can imagine is I did not feel like I had value to offer until recently. So probably the reason I did not choose to be seen was, like, I was fine when I was behind somebody like a boss or an organization or something. But when it's just me, wow, that's a whole other story, right? Having value as me, Sophie, without anything to, like, I'm not supporting anything. I'm just being me. Wow, that's very different. So I feel like now that I know I have intrinsic value, then it's much easier to be seen than before, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, it totally makes sense. And as we're talking about seeing, for some of us, it's also going to be being heard, right? Not just being seen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to bring that in. For me, for a long, long time, I was a performer. Still I am. And there was a big difference from situation to situation. If someone had paid to come see me, or even if they hadn't paid, but they were there to see me do something, it was much different from if I'm speaking or showing up and they haven't paid to come see me, or if they're not there for my contribution, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, totally.
And yeah, because in one sense, in one situation, there's a willingness, and I want to see Kathy, or I want, not just Kathy, the show or the program or whatever it is. And the other situation, it's like, no, they're here for something else, right? In fact, I was talking with a friend of mine who's going to be at the Grammys this weekend. They're on Sunday. And he's like, it's very different to be a performer and people are there to see you, and then to be going up for an award in which, like, everyone's there just to see the Grammys. They're not there to see you. They're happy for you to just say thanks and get off the stage.
So I have a question. Which one is more difficult for you as a performer? Which situation is more challenging?
It's way more challenging for it to be that everyone's there for something that's not you, right?
Okay.
If they're there, yeah. Even if it's like I'm in the Nutcracker and they're here to see the Nutcracker, that's cool because I'm part of what they came for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you're imposing on them if that you're not what they came for? Is that what you're feeling?
There's, of course it comes down to my story in my head, right?
Oh, yeah. Totally.
There's a sense of, like, I'm part of contributing to why they're here in one scenario, and the other, it's like, oh, yeah, I hope this is okay with them.
Yeah.
Wanting to please the people. Yeah.
Or like almost afraid of wasting their time, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. That's interesting. That's very interesting because I've known a lot of performers. I used to be in the entertainment industry, and I've known a lot of performers who were getting very nervous when they would go on stage because they felt they had to be as good as the people expected them to be. Yeah. So it is really, everybody's going to have a different experience, right? It's fascinating.
That is really interesting. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, as I think about that scenario, I think that's how I used to show up when I would do a video, like a Facebook Live or something like that. Like, I hope this is, quote, as good as they want it to be or provide something of value for them. And what if it doesn't? Like, there's always this idea of lack in my mind. Like, what if I don't measure up? And one of my situations, when that happened early on with a Facebook video, was I made this video, and then I posted it, and a few minutes later, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, I was still thinking about it. And I was like, well, that wasn't very good, was my story about it. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to go back online and take it off. Like, unpost it, delete it. And so I went back online to go delete this, and someone had already shared it.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, okay, my idea is that was a waste of time, or that wasn't good enough, or whatever. But that person had a totally different experience.
Yeah. Okay. So I hope everybody who has a fear of being judged by being visible or being heard, I would love to have them do a little exercise, okay? It's really, really fun to do. So you go on YouTube and you try to find the videos that have the most views possible, okay? So avoid the celebrity stuff because we're not celebrities. So we're not talking about celebrity stuff, but just like, you know, people you barely heard of, or maybe some teachers, but just look at the videos that have the highest number of views, okay? So what I've noticed is that I would say 75% of these videos, I don't understand why they have so many views. I literally cannot tell why, okay? Because people like all kind of stuff, number one. My kids, I remember when they were little, they used to watch these videos of kids who opened boxes of toys, right?
My kids too, and I loved that. I was like, this is such a waste of time. Why are you doing this?
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a friend who watches people eat. She loves watching people eat. And there are videos on YouTube of people eating. Okay? With a lot of views. So
really?
The reason yes, really. The reason I'm
That's hilarious.
saying this is because suddenly you realize that value has nothing to do with it. Being seen has nothing to do with value. Okay, that's number one.
That's hilarious.
Now the truth is, like, it's not, that's actually not the kind of visible that we actually want to. Whether we have 100 views, 1,000 views, 100,000 views, who cares? Like, I mean, honestly, like, you don't really care. That's not what you want. What you want is to know that you're a contribution. What you want is to know that you have made a difference. And whether it's one person that tells you, oh my gosh, you changed my life, or 50 people, it doesn't matter. You just want to know that you made a difference, right? At least you and I. That's why we do what we do. So in that case, it's a little different, because in that case, we have to know that who we are from the get-go, who we are without even performing, but just who we are. So I'm not talking about what we do or what we say, but who we are is what makes a difference, right?
Yes.
I would not have said yes to be on a radio show on a regular basis with anybody. I said yes to Kathy because of who she is, right?
Oh, thank you.
So I feel like that's the huge difference. People confuse being seen for what they do versus who they are. And I mean, do you have something to add to that?
Yes. You know, I mean, we think of little babies, and little babies bring such joy to people, and they haven't earned that, right? They didn't like go out and do something amazing to be valued and treasured. It's just who they are and their essence, and your essence is unduplicatable, right?
Absolutely.
There's no other you. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about showing up is when you're real, even if you mess up, right? It's okay because it's very relatable, you know? Like we're not trying to be perfect. I've mispronounced words on YouTube and then I've been like, is that how you say that? No, that's not. Or whatever. Like, if you're real, it's very relatable. And I've seen far too many people trying to lose the 30 pounds or become a better expert before they're willing to be seen. And the thing is, you don't need to be better to be seen. You know, like if you have something to say, if you have something that lights you up, there's someone out there waiting for it.
Yep.
And we can use all number of things as hang-ups or as you know, things that stop us. Yeah. Like the weight, like the expertise. I'm not an expert. I don't have my certification. I don't, you know, whatever it is. And it's like all of those can stop you, but you don't have to let them. So we're going to go to break in a moment. And I know Sophie has something to say about this. We're just going to hold that thought and add the break and be right back. Thanks so much for listening to Sexy Mom Abundant Life, everyone. Really happy you're here.
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers, pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Would you like to have a life of more clarity and abundance? What's possible for you when you get out of your own way? Connect with Kathy Williams for private coaching or join her online to transform your relationship with abundance in every area of your life with the Radical Abundance course. Kathy also travels, facilitating radical abundance and access consciousness bars and foundation around the world. She'll be in London, Hawaii, Hilton Head, and other fun locations soon. Visit www.meetkathywilliams.com for a class schedule, to connect with Kathy, or invite her to your region and get some free goodies.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Sexy Mom Abundant Life. This is Kathy Williams, and I'm here today with Sophie Mihalko. Our show is about being seen and some practical ways to allow yourself, give yourself permission, and show up to be seen and heard. And I'm just laughing because a new ad is coming. It is coming. That ad has been playing for a while. Yeah, no, next year, huh? It is coming. I've been working on it. See, my perfectionistic tendencies do come out every once in a while, and they're coming out right here, although everything is changeable, so hey. So we left on the note of you don't have to lose the weight. You don't have to become a better expert in order to be seen. And I know, Sophie, you had some words to say about that.
Well, I have so much to say about that. First of all, people love authentic people. And somebody who is going through the process of losing weight, for instance, or becoming a better parent, or building a business, they're probably the best experts because they're going through it. And one thing I found myself do on the internet, there's so much information available out there that I often look at the date of the information because we're in a very fast-changing world. So when somebody is going through it and it's current, what you're watching is current, what you're listening to is current, then you know that that's what's happening. Like maybe they're doing something so that you don't have to do it. So there is so many ways of being an expert that is not through certification, that is not through awards. I don't like that word expert. I understand. I like the word authority a lot more. It's actually a word that's used in the Bible. And it's a really cool thing because basically Jesus gave authority to his disciples by simply giving them the Spirit, right? So if you have the Spirit, you have authority. So imagine what would the Spirit of losing weight be like? What would the Spirit of building a great business be like? And when you have that Spirit in you, when you know inside of you, I'm going to do it regardless, and I want to take people through that process with me, man, you're on fire, and people don't really care what certification you have or awards or whatever, because they want to work with you. It's who you are that's attracting them. It's not what you've done in the past. In fact, I can tell you that you could have been very successful in the past and totally fail at coaching them or teaching them and not be the right teacher for them, or vice versa. So
true.
It's really, for me, what's critical is, are you willing to be vulnerable and authentic, share that, and that's why being seen is so freaking important, because you have to be willing to be seen. And if you're willing to do that, then people will follow you. They will come and see you, and you won't even have to ask them. They'll just come because they want to. You don't have to invite, you don't have to entice them to come to see you or hear you. They're like, I don't know who she is, but I like her. And then they'll just come, right? You spoke earlier about mispronouncing words. hello, I'm my accent. And for the longest time, I thought this was a problem, right? I thought my accent was a problem. And then, do you know how many people say to me that they listen to what I do just because of my accent? Like, they don't actually listen to, no. Some people don't listen to the content. They just like the accent. Like, okay, if that works well, that's fine. You know?
Cute.
So,
yeah.
So, also, you may have heard that as long as you get one thing from whoever you're listening to, then you're a winner, right? So as long as you can offer one thing, a lot of times people thank me for my smile when I make videos because I met their day brighter because I smile so big. That's it. You too, probably.
I had a really funny one. I was doing this video. I was going to Alabama and going to teach a class in Mobile, and it turned out to be a pretty full, amazing class. And I do the video beforehand, and in the background of my video was my kid yelling, "Mom, Mom, can I have some water?" And in the video I said, he has water up there. I've given him everything that he needs, right? And someone emailed me and said, I love your video because you're like, nope, he's all taken care of. I'm doing my thing. I don't need to interrupt and go, take care of him. We're all good. And that's how life is, right? You're being real. And I've had so many people message and just like, thank you, Kathy, for keeping it real. Yeah. And I don't show you everything, right? but I do keep it real. And I've even made videos like people are like, they say like, oh, I love that you travel around the world or this or that. And I'm like, you don't see that on the way to on the door to go out to the airport, I'm making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like it's like dancing with life, showing up. And for me, the most challenging video was the first one, right? Where it's like, it's this hurdle that you've created. And it's been created with your thoughts and with your projections and with your stories about it. I just want you to know, like, the most tenuous, nervous, one is the first one. And after that, it's like, oh, I did that. And it gets that much easier. And then maybe if you're venturing in a new, more vulnerable direction, maybe again, that's like it feels a little risky or something like that. But then you do it and it gets easier. It's like riding a bicycle. Yeah. I remember being in first grade or whatever it was and feeling shaky and nervous and like, can I do this? But you get going. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I feel like we covered pretty good the topic of what, like, feeling like you don't want to be seen. I mean, of course, a lot of times it's because of the judgment that we think we're going to get. And so I just want to say this in case you never heard this before, but people don't actually care about you. They only care about them. So they don't actually spend a lot of time judging you. They're going to spend a lot of time judging themselves, but not you. So don't worry about it. If they do judge you, it's just not your people. So who do you care? Go ahead.
Yeah, if there is a hater or whatever, it's like, it's not even about you, which is the really interesting thing. Right? And I had a hater once, and Sophie's interacted with them. And, I said, okay, why don't you go out and make your own cool content? Why are you wasting your time watching mine if you don't like it?
Absolutely.
Dude. So
this is interesting. Sometimes I see people post things on Facebook and I so want to say something negative about it, but hold myself back because I realize that I'm making it, obviously about the fact that I'm better than them or I'm more right than them or whatever. And even though sometimes I think I am, but that's okay. But I often don't because I also know, okay, so this is something, you're actually a lot more visible than you think you are. People watch what you do and what you say way more than you actually know. And you think it's only the videos you post or only the posts you post, but it's also the comments that you make. So when you post something or when you comment something and it's not in alignment with who you are, people notice that actually more than when you post a really great video. So I pay a lot of attention to when I'm not being really kind, which is not something I want to be in the world. And then I don't do it, even though it could help. Probably it could help some other people that are reading this, but I try to do it in a different way. One thing I learned about business, there's absolutely no rule. There is no rule. And if you make a rule, you're going to basically lose a lot of money because the world changes so much. You make a rule, the next day your rule is outdated. So there is no rule. So when I'm in a lot of business coaching, business groups, and people ask questions of each other, what do you do, when? And this person was like, oh, would you hire somebody who comes late to an interview? And, but people are like, no. And I'm like, how can you know? Like it depends. It depends on the situation, on the person, and what happened. Did they communicate? I mean, there's like a long list there. It's not a yes or no answer. And so, but of course, I'm like, okay, how do I put this in a way that helps and does not criticize, right? And so I was like, oh, well, I don't want to lose money, so I will not make a rule in my business. But it worked. It worked. Anyway, so that being said, so if you feel like you're afraid of being seen, get rid of that. Listen again to this part of the show because I think we've given you some insights as to why you can stop being afraid, right, Kathy?
Yeah, and a lot of times, as we've mentioned, it comes down to judgment, right? The fear of being judged, right? Oh, if I say this, will people like it? What if they don't like it? Oh, that they don't like it, we judge ourselves first and worst in our heads. Even like the video I posted and then, 15 minutes later wanted to take it down. I was still judging it. It could have been better and maybe it wasn't that good, like blah, 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 blah. And, judgments are just stories. Just stories. And there is real, I love this. You can use this. They're as real as the three little pigs. They're made up. The three little pigs are made up. The judgments are made up. And then we live as though those are true. And then we live as though the negative what ifs are true. Like, oh, what if people don't like it? Well, we don't say, oh, what if people love it? What if this inspires somebody? And then we make the oftentimes make the negative ones so much worse. Like, oh, Joe Smith, some random person didn't like it, and we don't say, well, look, my friend Mary got this out of it, right? And that's or 62 people really it caused them to reflect. Or something like that. We make the one negative thing like pollute the waters of the whole thing. And that's just because we've given it that much significance or weight. Stop. Who did that? We did it. Yeah. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Okay. So no more stories, no more judgments. They're going to occur, but they're not something you need to worry about. And I mean, one of my favorite stories, even though it's pretty sad, it's Brené Brown when she made that TED Talk a while back now that got so popular that got her on the scene. Somebody commented on her video, you should not be on camera. You're too heavy. Go lose weight. Okay. So, I mean, you got to laugh. You got to laugh at this, right? It's like, this woman is brilliant. What she says is brilliant. The TED Talk is amazing. What? Like, this has nothing to do with it. So this is just somebody who wants to see their comments on YouTube. That's it. It has nothing to do with Brené Brown, And I'm like, I mean, sure. Last time this was very interesting. One of my videos that I made 3 or 4 years ago got a negative comment maybe a week ago. And the comment was, this is just a bunch of BS or something like that. And I was looking at it and I'm like, well, yeah, this video is 3 years old. Like today, I would probably not say half of what I said in that video because I'm so different. So I'm almost like, maybe I should not leave those videos on, right? But then I have people who love those videos. So I'm like, okay, I'll leave them because it helps a lot of people. In fact, I'm about to post a video of why I left Access Consciousness and I turned to my faith instead. And I know that, what am I mentioning? Oh, I know that a lot of people are surprised because I still have a lot of Access Consciousness videos on my YouTube channel, but I don't take them down because people love those videos, right? So it's like, okay, today that does not apply to me, but it may apply to somebody else. So those are just examples of, you may be judged, so what? It's not a big deal.
Yeah. We're all seeing the world through the filters of our past. And so we don't even always see what's true. We see what we've allowed in through our filters. So judgment is not about you. Thanks so much for listening to Sexy Mom Abundant Life, everyone. We're on IOM.FM every Thursday, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Would you like to have a life of more clarity and abundance? What's possible for you when you get out of your own way? Connect with Kathy Williams for private coaching or join her online to transform your relationship with abundance in every area of your life with the Radical Abundance course. Kathy also travels, facilitating radical abundance and access consciousness bars and foundation around the world. She'll be in London, Hawaii, Hilton Head, and other fun locations soon. Visit www.meetkathywilliams.com for a class schedule, to connect with Kathy, or invite her to your region and get some free goodies.
More than 24 million Americans have an autoimmune disorder, and that number continues to grow. I'm Sharon Saylor, and I'm one of those 24 million. To put that number in perspective, cancer affects about 9 million and heart disease up to 22 million. That's why I've brought together top experts and those thriving regardless of their diagnosis to bring you the latest, most up-to-date information. Join me, Sharon Saylor, Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, for the Autoimmune Hour on Life Interrupted Radio to find out how to live your life uninterrupted.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Sexy Mom Abundant Life. Sophie and I, Kathy, are talking today about being seen. And before we head into how to be seen, where can people find you, Sophie?
Good question. Sophie Mihalko.
She didn't know that was coming.
I was like, no, I was not ready for that. Okay, SophieMihalko.com. I want to point out a couple of things. I have a wonderful coaching program that is very inexpensive, and we cover so many topics, including confidence and creating your business and your life and all of that. But before you sign up for the program, I'd love to get to know you better. And so I have a first date appointment. So it's like we go on a first date, you and I. And so it's free. Make a first date so we get to know each other a little bit better, and I can tell you what the program is exactly and how it would work for you. And you can tell me more about you. So make that appointment so that we can check it out.
Cool. And again, that is at
SophieMihalko.com, SophieMihalko.com.
Great. Thank you. And you can always get in touch with me at meetkathywilliams.com. There you can download a free Money Rain meditation and create your life exercise. And I'm soon going to have an addition, and that is a little Stop Stopping You ebook. So watch for that at meetkathywilliams.com. I also have some super, super fun things coming up, which I'm totally excited about. I have been using Ho'oponopono in my life for quite some time, and recently had some remarkable insights around it, and just such a space of peace that has opened up because of using this ancient Hawaiian technique. And they consider it a forgiveness technique. And it clears out like your judgments so that you can have more spaciousness and be able to receive people and life without resistance. And so I'm going to have a kickoff call at the beginning of February. And then we realized that my assistant and I were looking at it, and we were like, it wants to be much more than that. So there will be a one-time call for people who would like to just do that and learn about Ho'oponopono and start to integrate this process, simple process, profound process into your life. And then if you'd like to take it a little deeper, a little further, we're going to have a whole month-long, integration of it, and that's coming February 4th. You can find out about it at meetkathywilliams.com/upcoming. And that week, I'm also starting an online exercise workout, 20 minutes, 3 times that week, that's barre. And it's super fun. I just got a much better mic. It's fun music, fun exercise. I never liked abdominal work. Like in all my years of ballet and Pilates and all the things, I never liked abdominal work till now. And people are like, whoa, what happened to your body, Kathy? I'm like, it's barre. It's awesome. I'm strong.
Nice.
Yeah, never felt
I'm
stronger.
interested.
So. It's super fun, Sophie. You come play. and the idea of 20, 20, 20, 20, one day it's 20 minutes of glutes and thighs. Another day it's 20 minutes of arms and abs, and then we kind of pull in different elements on the last day.
Nice.
And 20 minutes is doable. You don't have to leave your house.
Very, very cool. Very cool. Okay.
Yes. That's one of those areas where I actually had to kind of push myself to show up and be seen. Like, yes, I can do this. So we're going to talk about the how of being seen now.
Well, I want to share a little experience that I mentioned earlier. One thing in my life that I've struggled with was I never felt people got who I was. I've always felt kind of awkward, different, and people didn't get me. And then I go to this church, so it's a Christian church just here in my community, and I'm just being myself. And, you know, I actually did not expect to join the church at the time, so I'm like, whatever, nothing to do. So I'm completely being myself. I don't really care what I say and who I talk to and all of that. And they loved me. They absolutely loved me. But more than that, after, you know, hanging out with these people maybe once or twice, I felt like they knew exactly who I was. Like, I never felt so seen, understood, accepted, loved than ever before.
Wow.
And of course, I have to say these are very smart people who have a big open mind. So open mind, open heart. So I have to give them credit. But also I noticed that because I didn't care whether they liked me or not, that I completely went and said what, I was silly, and I would mention some good things that I've done in the past, and I would just wear whatever I wanted to wear, and, you know, whatever. Like, I was me. I was completely me because I didn't care. And so they got to see me and completely get it right away. And to the point that now people are, like, almost everybody wants to make an appointment with me because they want to know more about me. And I'm like, but you already see me. Why do you want to know more? You know, it's just so strange. But it's beautiful. And so what I realize is when we don't have the projection or expectation of whether they're going to reject me or not, or I want this from them, so like I did not have an agenda with them.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that is magic, right? And so it, like, when you're making videos, when you're sharing content, if you don't have an agenda, of course, you have something to offer and you're going to offer it. You're going to be clear about what you offer, but that's it. Otherwise, because that video is not what's going to sell your programs. And, you know, those photos you're posting are not going to make people sign up for your class. It's you. It's who you are. And it's by them getting to see who you are that's going to make a difference. That's it. It has nothing to do with the actual content. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of times people are looking for, well, what's in it for me, right? Like, how's it going to change me? Because it's about, if I'm your client or if I'm looking to be your client, it's about me. It's not about you.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know, as you said that, I was thinking to myself, just about presence, being present and showing up, and that, like, there are kind of a couple of schools of thought where one is you rehearse something. And you being a speaker and me being a ballerina, we kind of know that. Okay, but then there's also the being present with the moment and allowing whatever it is to come through us and trusting that. And I think that, you know, even when being seen doesn't apply to just being on stage or just being on video or Facebook, social media, whatever it is. It also applies to how you're showing up wherever you go, when you go, and trusting yourself to say whatever it is that's going to, be authentic and be your contribution, whether you're in a meeting at work or whether you're at a Halloween party. I remember Michael Neal, who is one of my big influences. I took his coaching program some years ago. He said, I've never met a client in an elevator, so I don't think an elevator speech is required. I love it. Right? Like something pre-planned, pre-prepared, rehearsed to the nines, so that it comes out pretty cardboard and automatically. It's more like showing up and trusting yourself to say whatever shows up, whatever is going to be the contribution that's required.
Yeah, and I have a third option, which is that it's a mix between the preparation and the improvisation. You're going to be so prepared that you can improvise and pick certain things that you prepared to say to whoever is speaking with you. As a speaker, I actually don't prepare a whole speech. I have stories that I know what the point of the story, and then I just pick 3 to 5 stories that I'm going to share in that speech, because people don't actually remember facts, they just remember stories. So that's it. I don't actually write out speeches. And I have a friend who is a very hot speaker right now, and he says he never writes any of his speeches because he knows his story back and front, in every direction. So that's true. I can't remember. How did you get into the elevator pitch? What was your connection there?
In part that we're not just talking about being on stage or to be seen. Like I said, for me, it's more. I want my environment to know me. Like that's what really matters for me, is the people in my life to know me. And I felt like before, my ex-boyfriends, ex-husbands, even ex-friends, they missed it. They didn't really see me. And probably because I didn't let them see me, Right. Yeah.
But now that I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with all the things that are not great about me. I'm okay with that. I'm just going to let them know about that. Now that I'm okay with all of this, they really see me, and there's nothing that I have to do to be seen except show up. That's it. It's really amazing.
That's really cool. Yeah, to have that kind of people. And the other thing is, some people, even if you are allowing yourself to be seen, it's very possible that there are people who will never see you, and that's okay, right? Like, it's okay. People see, again, through the lens of their past. So they may think they see you, and they see the you that, like, they see all those yous who you were years ago, right? They're not actually seeing who you are now.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. We all do that to an extent.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually a really great conversation to have with somebody who keeps putting you back to how you were before, and be like, hey, are you the same person that you were a month ago? And they'll probably be no. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not either. And that's it.
Yeah.
And just like just have that conversation with them if they keep doing that. And, you know, I've had to do a lot of apologies. Like, I realized I was so insecure before that I was not really kind to people because I was so insecure. So it's possible that people did not actually want to see me because I wasn't, or they didn't want to be vulnerable with me because I was a little bit aggressive with them or not really kind. And I have to do a lot of, you know, hey, I'm so sorry. I really apologize for my behavior in the past. And I've had to do that, you know. We all have a part of responsibility in it.
And that requires a level of vulnerability too, doesn't it?
Yes, and a lot of willingness.
Yeah. Wow. So as we were talking, and as we've gone through the conversation, a couple of times this has popped. A month ago, I think it was a month ago, or maybe even two, you and I did a show about confidence.
Yeah.
And that could be a really relevant listen for a lot of people. So just know that in the archives at IOM.FM or on SoundCloud or YouTube under Kathy Williams Public Figure, we do have a show, a Sexy Mom Abundant Life show about confidence. And the other one that kind of popped as being relevant is actually 2 weeks ago, I did a show on chakras. And I know that sounds like an interesting interplay. It strikes me as being very possibly useful. And it's a real favorite of listeners. So
nice.
Thank you so much for being here with me, everyone, and especially Sophie. Can't wait till next week on Thursday at 5 Eastern. Then check out the archives on IOM.FM or YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, any of those places, and at meetkathywilliams.com. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll be back next week on Thursday. Aloha, and please